Hi friends, welcome back. Or if you're new, my name is Chris. Today we are doing our September wrap up. September was a great month. I have to say, I had a really good time, majority of really great reads. I am going to do this from the lowest rated to the highest rated, and let's just get into it because I read 24 books. If I can find the stats for September, I will put it on the screen. I use Fable, the Fable app, and when I was trying to do this before, it was kind of hard to just do the month itself. So if I can find it, I'll put it on the screen. We're starting off with our 2.75 star read. That was my lowest rated book this month, and that is How to Survive a Horror Story by Mallory Arnold. Unfortunately, this did not work out for me. This started off really strong. In this book, we're following 7 authors. They get invited to a legendary author named Mortimer Queen. They get invited to his last will testament reading. He has passed away and he has put these 7 authors in his will. So they're eager. They're thinking they're going to get a, fortune. So when they get to the manor, the groundskeeper tells them what Mortimer Queen has left them is a game. They have to survive the house from eating them. So they have to solve riddles in each room in order to leave the house. I haven't read a lot of books where it's like, 7 people, escape room-esque. I gotta say, I don't think it's for me. I just don't think it's for me. I felt like it's just too many characters. It starts getting too blended that I'm like, who is that again? And I have to really write down notes, and it starts becoming like kind of like a brain freeze. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm getting like, it's too much. And that's how I felt with this book towards the end. I did feel like some parts were irrelevant to the story. And one big thing that I love in my books is a backstory. And because the house had a big part in this book, I wanted to know the origins of this house. Like, why is the house doing this? Why does it require this? And the groundskeeper, like, she was so creepy and eerie. And I felt like she was thrown in the behind the scenes, and we could have done so much more with her as well. I wanted this to be more horror and more gory. The ending was very random, and I just overall I was like, yeah, this just isn't for me. I did enjoy the atmosphere in the beginning, especially in the first half. I didn't really connect with the characters. I thought they were making stupid decisions, and this just fell a little flat, unfortunately. So I will be putting this on my Pango. We're gonna be getting into the 3-star ratings, and my first 3-star rating, and I have my notes here. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at this. All Her Fault by Andrea Mara. And I read Hide and Seek by this author, and I rated it 5 stars. And this one is her newest release. So I wound up purchasing this on my Kindle because I wanted to read it on my Kindle. I didn't want to buy the physical. And I gotta say, I was so let down, man. Like, it was such a struggle to get through this book. I felt like it was very repetitive. And in this book, we're following a child that goes to a play date with a new friend. And the mother goes to pick up her son. And when the person opens the door, she's like, that you have the wrong house. Like, this is not that house, and I don't have your son. And there ensues this horrible nightmare of now, the mother and the father looking for their son. And I just felt like the first 50% was them being in the house and them just waiting for answers. And it was just like a repetitive cycle of, oh my gosh, I'm worried. And like, obviously, like, this is a very hard thing to go through, but I needed more from the story for me to keep wanting to read it. And I did push through finally. I have to say, this was gonna be like a 2-star for me, but the ending and those twists towards the end, like, we got like 5 twists at the last 10%. I really wish they would have sprinkled it a little more even throughout the book, so it kept my interest. But the last 10%, they just hit you with so many twists, and I gotta say, the twists were really good. I enjoyed them. Next 3-star that I have is You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Pliego. Got for my aardvark a few months ago, and I've been meaning to read it. I love this cover. This cover is stunning, but this was just a 3-star for me. And this was the other book that authors get invited to this manor. Anonymous author invites 7 other authors to this island, to his private island. Twisty locker room mystery. And they're taken one by one. This story, this idea of a book does not, it's not for me. And I don't think I will be reading any more like this because it just didn't wow me. I didn't connect with none of the characters. There were certain parts towards the end that I was like, okay, I got me intrigued, but not enough where I was like, wow, this turned out to be better than I thought. I had higher hopes for this, and this just fell very flat. There was nothing to it. Nothing that wowed me. Maybe if you're a beginner and you like books like this, you will probably enjoy it more than I did. The next one is a short story novella. I did do a video recently reading novellas for a week, and I gotta say, I had so much fun doing that video. If you haven't checked it out, linked in the description, but I had so much fun in that video, and I read a lot of good novellas, so please check it out. And one of them being The Sublet. I did rate this a 3-star. This is by Greer Hendricks, and we're following Annie, and she's a ghostwriter, and she is kind of struggling at the moment, just being spread thin. She's a mom of twins, she's a wife, and she just feels like she's getting pulled in every direction, so she's feeling a bit defeated at the moment. And she winds up getting a gig, very well-known author that does self-improvement. She does classes, she teaches you how to change your mindset, that kind of stuff. And so she gets this gig, and it's pretty far away for commute. So this woman, this author, her name is Melody, she tells her she has a apartment that is close to her that she can just sublet. So she's like, wow, that would be amazing, this and that. So they wound up moving into the sublet, and the house has a mysterious past. And to me, the reason why I rated this a 3-star was because I thought we were going to get way more creepier with this apartment, because it's the sublet, you know what I mean? I thought we were gonna get way more creepy house vibes, and this went a route I did not expect, and it wasn't bad. It just didn't wow me, and it wasn't memorable in my opinion. The next 3-star that I read this month was A Killer Motive, and this is by Hannah Mary McKinnon, and this is actually rated a 4.2 on Goodreads. So I had high hopes. I was seeing this circulate on Instagram, so I said, oh, okay, cool. It was on Hoopla, so I decided to just take the plunge. This is a crime thriller, and this is fairly new, I believe, and I've never read anything from this author. Following Stella, and she has a very successful true crime podcast, and her brother Max disappears 6 years prior. She's always trying to look for him, always trying to find information on his disappearance so that she can possibly find him one day. And now in present time, she's on her podcast, and someone calls in with a cryptic message, and it's related to her brother. After that, she starts getting these cryptic emails. Emails are blackmail, some idea that this person that's sending the email has her brother, but now he has taken another victim, and she can't tell the police because then he will hurt the victim, and there ensues her journey trying to help the victim and potentially find her brother. This started off so strong, so strong. I was like, wow, this is so fast paced, very engaging. But towards the end, it started getting predictable. It started feeling a little disconnected. This did end in a cliffhanger, and I did not know this was a series, so maybe that's my bad. But the cliffhanger, I just did not enjoy it. Some cliffhangers, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to dive into the second book. This one just had me annoyed. I was so annoyed. I was like, oh, hell no. So that really drove me crazy. This does have the podcast element. It doesn't heavily have that podcast element, only towards the end. And I did listen to this on audio, which I'm glad I did, because at the end they do a podcast segment, and it really sounds like you're hearing a podcast. So I thought that was pretty cool. It didn't blow me away. I thought it was gonna be way more twisty, way more disturbing. I didn't really like the ending, and it fell a little flat, unfortunately. But I mean, if you like crime thrillers, check it out. I think a lot of people will like this. For me, I've just read so many of these, and it's just starts I need some more uniqueness to the story, unfortunately. So I did rate this the 3-star. Next one is a 3.25 star. This is the only 3.25 star that I did rate this month, and it is Not Quite Dead Yet. I do have a reading vlog on this book. I think this was the video before this one. And in this book, we're following Jet, and Jet gets attacked one night, and she wakes up in a hospital, and they tell her she has 7 days to live because she has an aneurysm due to the attack. And she is determined within those 7 days to find the person that potentially wanted to kill her. And this premise sounds so interesting. I love this cover. This is Holly Jackson's first adult thriller. I have never read from this author before. I did enjoy following Jet and her kind of sleuthing to find, you know, the person that attacked her. She uncovers a ton of secrets in this book, and I did like how there was so many uncovered secrets. It played a part in, you know, the overall reason why she was doing this. I really enjoyed the investigation of this book, and the outcome of it I didn't expect, so I was pleasantly surprised. Now, where it didn't work out for me was how repetitive Jet was. I think every time Jet, in her inner dialogue or even just talking to people, she would mention that, well, it doesn't matter, I have 7 days to live. Oh, it doesn't matter, I have 2 days to live. It doesn't matter, I'm gonna die. Like, she kept repeating that so many times to the point where I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, I know it sucks, but like, it's driving me crazy you saying that all the time. So I didn't, that just, it really irked me. And just how young she felt. She's supposed to be 27 in this book, but she literally sounds like an angry teenager the whole time. And I had to constantly remind myself that she was 27. So she did read very young. And Jet was just kind of insufferable. She was just treating her parents very mean. And it was, you didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to do all that. Like, her parents are so sad and distraught that, you know, this is happening, as any parent would be. And Jet's just like, oh, stop being dramatic. Like, I'm like, what the? So that really bothered me. But yeah, so I just settled on 3.25 star. It was still an enjoyable read. It's just those little things just, I couldn't get past it. A full thorough review, you can check out the reading vlog that I did on this. So my 3.5 stars, the first two are book 3 and book 4 in the Homies, Lovers, and Friends. This is a series I started in August. Such a fun time with this series. The last three, like the third and fourth book that I finished this month wasn't as good as the first half, but it closed off very well for me, so I am glad I finished the series. We're following our main character, and she is in an abusive relationship, and she doesn't have a lot of confidence in herself. So this talks about some heavy things, definitely like a drama that you watch on TV. And it was just really good. It had romance. Check your triggers with this series, but overall this was a good time. I really enjoyed following the stories of these multiple people. It was very messy, just drama filled, and it was just a good time. So I did rate both of them 3.5 stars. Next 3.5 star that I read was Good Intentions, and this was by Brandon Massey, and it was entertaining, but you're also like, what the? It was so much fun. I definitely enjoyed reading this one. All the characters were just like out of control. This is urban fiction. I'm like new to the urban fiction genre, and I just had so much fun with this. This follows these two kids that they were 13, they're best friends, and one of the kids, he unfortunately comes from a house where it's very abusive and it's very toxic atmosphere. And so years later, they kind of just separate. We're following the other friend, and he has made a name for himself. He is now the owner of like UPS stores and trying to build a business. He is getting married, and then he goes to the store and finds his friend from years ago working at a grocery store. And there just like unfolds so many crazy things. This friend is so unhinged. He's obviously had a hard life, and he's like determined to make this guy's life a living hell. It's a fun, wild, crazy ride. Next 3.5 star read is Was the Wrong Daughter by Dandy Smith, and this was fun. I just wanted a little more from it. We're following two sisters, Olivia and Katie. 16 years ago, Katie witnesses Olivia getting abducted in the middle of the night while their parents go out for dinner. The way that she was abducted was very scary. 16 years later, we never heard anything from Olivia, and it's pretty much haunted Katie her whole life. She is now a teacher, about to get married, and one day she gets a phone call saying her sister has returned. Her sister does not seem like herself He is very skeptical because she's not really answering certain questions. She's not telling them about like where she's been or who has taken her, any information at all. She doesn't want the police to be involved, and Katie's just like, no, like this is crazy. So she starts asking her sister certain questions that only Olivia would know, and she doesn't know. So Katie's just like, this is not my sister. It gets a little wild, and it got darker than I thought it was gonna get. At the end, so predictable, and the ending of this book went in a direction that I was like, ooh, yes, I wish we had more of that. But overall, I would highly recommend this. This was still a very good time and definitely a page turner. And I also have a reading vlog with this book too. So if you want to see my thoughts, a full thorough review, you can go check that out. Next 3.5 star is The Hangman by Lois Penny. And this was another novella from that vlog that I did. A man was taking a jog and he sees a body hung on a tree. So he calls the police, and we're following the detective on the case. And he winds up uncovering some secrets of to why this man did what he did. And honestly, I wish this book was longer. It was really good. It was very atmospheric. I thought it was very well rounded, and I just wanted it to be longer, to be honest. So it was Bad Date, and this is by Ellery Lloyd. And here we're following a bad date. So a woman goes on a date with a man. And she is on this date not because she wants to be on this date, but she has a plan of her own. And there we uncover what that plan is and some dark secrets that come with this person that she's going on a date with. And this was really good. And I would have liked if this was longer as well. I did like the podcast element to it. I liked how the podcast element came into the story itself. It's got pretty dark. So I did enjoy this. This was a novella. It's on Kindle Unlimited. You can check it out. So we're going to go into our 4-star reads. And the first 4-star that I read this month was Vampires of El Norte. And this is by Isabel Cañas. This was so good. I had such a good time. This was very atmospheric. It had vampires. I love vampires. This had strong conversations. This was a historical Gothic book, and I just love historical Gothic books. The atmosphere to it is unmatched. Commentary on race. This is set in the backdrop of Texas in the 1800s. This had horror. This had romance. I did wish that this had more of the vampire elements, but this is definitely a book where the vampires aren't your norm vampires that you see in other vampire books. These were like creatures of the night, like really scary creatures. This had a lot of tension and high stakes and a lot of action. It was still a good time, and I did rate this a 4-star. My next 4-star read was another novella, and this is Sour Candy. And this is by Keelan Patrick Burke. This was so good. This was a mind-bending mind F, seriously. Like, I was there like, what the hell is going on? Like, we're following Phil, and he's on his way to the grocery store when he sees a child in one of the aisles making a fuss about wanting sour candy, and he is with his mother. And he's just like, man, what the heck is all the noise? What is going on? Kid wants up giving the guy a piece of candy, and he was like, oh, okay, thanks. And the kid like chills out. Whatever, he goes to the grocery store, does his things, he's on his way home, he gets in a car accident, and he gets in a car accident with the kid's mother. But the kid is nowhere to be found. Later on, he goes home, the kid is at his house, and it is his son. They're saying it's his son. And he's like, I don't have a son, what are you talking about? And there, oh my gosh, when I tell you, this was such a wild, crazy ride. You just second guessing yourself. You're just wanting to know what the hell is gonna happen, like what is gonna be the outcome. And the outcome was so good. I had such a good time reading this book. I definitely recommend it to a whole bunch of people that love horror and just a mindfuck of a book. The next one is Death Row by Frida McFadden, also in my novella video. And honestly, I didn't know what to think going into this book. I went in fairly blind, but I did hear that a lot of people just didn't like this book. So I was like, wow, I don't know. Let's see, you know? And this was so good. I was not expecting that ending, that twist, and we're pretty much following a woman on death row, and she claims she didn't do what they're saying that she did, and she's fighting every minute before she, before she goes to death row. The story, we're following her story and how she got there, and oh god, it was so good. It was so good. I enjoyed this. I had such a fun time with this, and yeah, I rated this a 4-star. I highly recommend it. It was just a great, twisty, short story. The 4-star I read was The One Night, and this is by Megan Quinn, and this is a romance, a rom-com, and this was super cute. This was just like kind of like a meet cute type of thing. It is on Kindle Unlimited. You can check it out. And we're just following a man that was recently divorced. He's been divorced for about a year, and he's with his parents on a Friday night, and his parents are like, dude, you're a bachelor, go find a girl, go on a date. Like, why are you here with your parents on a Friday night? And he's in his 30s. And so the parents decide to be his wingman and find him a girl. So they go out to a bar and they see his ex-wife's best friend, and the parents try to set him up. So there goes their night of just like, okay, let's just talk so we can shut up my parents because they're embarrassing me and stuff like that. And this was so funny. This was a cute romance, and this does have a sequel, and it is a full-length book, and I will be absolutely reading that book because I just had such a good time with this, and I fell in love with the characters and I wanted more. That's why I love doing these novellas, because with certain authors, it's kind of like a taste test, and you see if the author is going to be for you or the genre is going to be for you. This was my first Megan Quinn book, and I want to read more from her. All right, so we're going into the 4.5-star books, and the first one was Unhinged. This is another novella. I think this is the last novella, or no, it's not. I read a lot of novellas, okay, guys, for that video. But this book was called Unhinged, and it is on Kindle Unlimited by Vera Valentine. When I tell you, this was crazy. It is a dark, taboo romance, and I loved it. It was so good. And pretty much, I'm gonna tell you just one thing about this book. But if you are okay with like taboo and just like unhinged, like the name says, books, just read it. It was so good. But this is about a woman that moves into an apartment, and the door is in love with her, and she has to break a curse for the door. That's all I'm gonna say. But this was so good. Watch my video. You'll see my full thoughts. I had a good time. Don't judge me. 0.5-star read was Gone in the Night by Joanna Schaffhausen. I think that's how you say it. And this is a fairly new release. I've never read anything from this author, but it was on Hoopla. This is a crime thriller. And let me look for my notes because I don't want to miss anything. And we are following a former detective, now PI. Her name is Annalisa. And she turned her brother in a few years ago for murder. And so present day, she gets a call saying her brother wants her to visit him in prison because he has a potential case for her. So she goes to the prison to hear him out. Another inmate got a letter saying that he was wrongfully convicted. So he tells her about this person, and she's kind of intrigued. She's like, oh, okay, I'll do a little bit of research. Let's see if this will be something I want to, help with. And the one thing about this inmate is that her husband, a detective, arrested him. So she kind of has like ties to his case. There she finds a lot of things wrong about the case her husband did. So she's now trying to do her own investigation, and there ensues crazy secrets. And this just was so good. I felt like this was very, very unique and very fast paced. Check your triggers. This does talk heavily about domestic violence as well, but oh boy, this was great. Such a great crime thriller. This reminded me a lot of like Charlie Dunlee's books. So if you like Charlie Dunlee, you would really, really enjoy this book. My next 4.5-star was A Lovely Lie by Jamie Lynn Hendricks. I do also have a reading vlog on this. Most of these books I do have reading vlogs, so check them out if you want thorough reviews. Not only is this cover stunning, but this was such a good popcorn thriller. This was so fast paced. The story was so good. I really enjoyed the secrets. I really enjoyed the overall ending, how it came together. I just loved how fast-paced this was. This was such a page turner. This had short chapters. This was my first book from this author. She is a local author. She lives here in Florida by Tampa. And so I actually won this book in a giveaway that she did like that this book is set in Tampa, in my area, and a lot of the landmarks that they were discussing I could envision because I'm from here. I've been to most of these places, so I thought that was really cool. This book, we're pretty much following, it starts off in 1999. We're following a few friends and they're having their senior picnic, and so everyone's having a jolly old time until two of the friends are found dead. Her and her friend in 1999 may have been involved in the murder of the two kids that were found dead. After that case in 1999, one of the girls, her name was Pepper, she just disappears. She cuts off all ties with her friends and no one's heard from her. Present time, we're following Scarlett, and she is married, not in a loving relationship. She is married to Pepper's ex-boyfriend from 1999, and she has a kid with him. She has this life and with her family. She's always wondered whatever happened to Pepper. One day she's at work, she works at a hotel, and Pepper's daughter finds her and she says, "I'm Pepper's daughter and I want to know who my dad is. And my mom passed away. She left you this eerie letter." And so there just like unfolds so many secrets, so many juiciness. This had so much drama, and it was a really good time. Such a good time. I highly recommend it. My next read, I also have a reading vlog. I originally rated this a 5-star, but upon reflection, I am gonna bump it down to a 4.5. Still a great read, but for the length, little slow pace, I have to admit. That's why I bumped it down to a 4.5 star. But in this book, we're pretty much following an officer, and she is escorting criminals to the precinct, but she makes a pit stop with her partner to the convenience store just to grab a couple of snacks because it's going to be a long journey. Grocery store is actually currently being robbed. She gets shot. And this all happens in like the first chapter, literally first few pages. And so she gets shot, she's rushed to the hospital, she does survive, but she has a long journey ahead of healing and recovering. She goes back to her hometown so her family can help her recover. In her hometown, there is a bunch of missing people getting abducted. There's no connection to all these people. So she decides while she's doing recovery to kind of do a little sleuthing and try to see some information, and things just get really crazy. She gets entwined into this dark investigation. I just really like this. Nora Roberts does a lot of character-driven books. So this is not plot-driven, this is character-driven. It is a bit slow-paced, but I really enjoy just the writing style of it, and I really enjoy following these characters. I had a good time with this. If you really like character driven, I would highly recommend Nora Roberts. Okay, so now we're at the 5-star reads this month, and my first 5-star read was Hot Wax by Emma Real. Oh, I loved this book so much. This gave me so much more than I thought it was gonna give me. And in this, we are following a young girl. She goes on tour with her rock star father, pretty much getting dual timelines from her childhood that was not very great. It was kind of toxic, to her now in the present time, trying to find herself again. And man, this was amazing. This was amazing. I did not think that like a rock star kind of book was gonna grab my attention, but this had so much more than just that. This had a lot of depth. This had a lot of conversations, and this kind of got gay too, and I really enjoyed that. That was like such a pleasant surprise. I would say just go into this blind, to be honest. It just gave me a lot more than I expected. My next 5-star read was The Wedding People by Alison Esbach, and this was such a good romance. Oh my gosh, I was tearing up. In this book, we're following a woman that recently got divorced, and she's just feeling down and out. And she decides to go to a very fancy hotel to unalive herself. And when she gets there, there's a wedding happening. So she wasn't supposed to get this room because the hotel was closed off for the wedding. But she's like, well, I paid for it, I'm here, and I'm gonna unalive myself. The bride hears about this, and she is just like, no, you're not. Like, you're like, this, you're gonna ruin my whole wedding. What unfolds is so beautiful. Literally so beautiful. This talks about grief. This talks about depression. This talks about like losing yourself, and oh my gosh, like I just connected so much with the female main character, and just like at the end of the tunnel, and whew, it It was so good. I really enjoyed this. Next 5-star was a novella and it blew me away. This is Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. And this is a possession story, good for her type story, which are my favorite. And this had so much female rage. This had so much strong conversations of women and having control over our own bodies, conversations about Latina experience in America. It's packed such a big punch for such a short amount of time, because this is 165 pages of perfection, literally of perfection. I highly recommend you read this book because this was not your normal possession story, that's for sure. Last 5-star that I read this month was The Unmaking of June Farrell. And this is a romance, magical realism with a mystery. This transported me. I felt like I was in North Carolina in the 1950s, following June Farrell, and in her bloodline, there's a curse. And the curse, through the years, the women pretty much lose their minds. And so we're following June and she's starting to hear and see things that are not there. And so one day she sees a red door, she goes through it, and she is transported to 1951. And she doesn't know how, she doesn't know why, and she uncovers her family's secret and her family's curse. This has a beautiful romance. This had a really good mystery element to it. And I thought this book was honestly a masterpiece. It was so good. Those were all the books that I read this month. I had such a good September. I cannot wait for October. It is spooky season and I'm ready to open up all my spooky books. So if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a beautiful day.